Hey, everybody, welcome back to the channel that takes you deep inside the San Francisco 49ers. I am your host, Jack Hammer. Hope you're all doing well. I have some breaking news coming courtesy of Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. Ian Rappaport, speaking with the 49ers flagship station, KNBR, was asked about Nick Bosa and his contract situation. Based on what Ian Rappaport said, it sounds like Nick Bosa could miss week one of the 49ers season, week one out in Pittsburgh. According to Ian Rappaport, this is what he had to say when asked about Nick Bosa today. For a deal to get done, there has to be communication on both sides. There has to be back and forth on all sides, and there needs to be a willingness to do a deal. It doesn't sound like the conversation is very active. Nick Bosa knows what he wants. He knows his value. He knows what he values himself as, and that's what he thinks he should get. And until the 49ers get there, I'm not sure how much discussion there will be. Will he miss a game? I don't know. But I will say this. If it's possible for anyone to miss a game, Nick Bosa would be that person in the conversation. That family, as principled as they are, I can see it. And that this is something that this is a very serious matter for the San Francisco 49ers. They need Nick Bosa. Now, just look at this situation. The 49ers need Nick Bosa way more than Nick Bosa needs the 49ers. As Ian Rappaport laid out, Nick Bosa knows his value. He knows his worth. He's not going to take anything less than what he feels he deserves. And what Nick Bosa feels he deserves, I'm pretty confident in saying that he thinks he should have more money than Aaron Donald, that he should have a higher average annual salary than Aaron Donald. And I would agree with him. He's the best player on the NFL when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. The 49ers know this. The 49ers have stated, John Lynch has stated that he believes that the 49ers have set the money aside to get a Nick Bosa deal done, that they have already budgeted for a Nick Bosa deal. And here is the thing, and as Ian Rappaport mentions, until the 49ers get there, I'm not sure how much discussion there will be. That should make everybody watching this, everybody who's a 49er fan, concerned, because everybody, I think, knows where the 49ers need to get Nick Bosa done. They need to get him past $33 million per year. They need to get up to $35 million annually. You can do that, obviously, in all kinds of different directions. A lot of that is going to be the guaranteed money of $100 million. The 49ers need to get there. And the 49ers, the reason it's a concern is the 49ers have a history of trying to slow play and lowball players. It's one of the reasons why you had the Deebo Samuel deal go a little sideways last year. Now, Deebo handled it in a different manner in that he went out to the press. He took to Twitter. He let everybody know that he wasn't happy with the way those negotiations were going. We know from history with, for example, George Kittle. In George Kittle's negotiation before it was done, when that started, the George Kittle and his agent basically looked at the offer that they were given by the 49ers and laughed and went back to the 49ers and said, "You've got to be joking. You've got to be full of baloney if you think this is what we're going to take." And this is how the 49ers generally do business. They try to screw their players. Let's just call it what it is. They try to get what they feel is fair for both sides. Well, everybody knows what's fair for both sides. NFL, everybody knows what everybody's making. And then this is a situation with Nick Bosa not getting anything close to what he feels he deserves. And that's why we're here. And the fact that Ian Rappaport is saying that the conversations aren't very active, that tells you everything that you need to know about what the 49ers have offered Nick Bosa so far, because as he says, there's no reason for either side to be talking until they get to the right spot. And the 49ers are clearly not in the right spot. And the 49ers pride themselves on getting their players signed, getting their players done. John Lynch said as much just the other day on KNBR. He has said that throughout this process, that he feels like one of the things that he prides himself on is getting his players and getting their guys the contracts that they deserve and getting them in the building and not missing time. Well, the process that they've gone through in the past isn't working. They still have 2 weeks from Sunday for a deal to be done before he misses the first game of the season. If this gets to the point where Nick Bosa is not on the field for the Niners against the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is a huge miss for the 49ers. A huge miss. This is a play, this is a deal that should be done, and it should be easily done based on all of the parameters being laid out ahead of time. So we'll see the direction. We'll see where this goes from here. What I would say is, again, I think that the 49ers are lowballing this. They need to come out. They need to offer something that makes sense to Nick Bosa. We know that the number is 35 million. We know it's at least not 33 million. That's where Aaron Donald is, and we know it's going to have to be above that. So in order for a deal to get done for Nick Bosa here, you're looking north of 33 million. I would say about 35 million. You're looking at about 110 to 120 million dollars guaranteed. And when you look at that in terms of the guaranteed money, that's going to give the 49ers a little bit of problems, especially with the signing bonus right now. In terms of where they are, they only have about $10 million in salary cap to work with. So they could offer, if they gave him a 5-year deal with $45 million signing bonus, that's going to eat up the full $9 million. So they're going to have to do some different things. The 49ers in the past have done signing bonuses up front and then option bonuses down the road, because that you can spread signing bonuses over a 5-year period, and then you can do an option bonus later on, which again you can spread out over time. So you could give Nick Bosa a high, let's say $35 million signing bonus, spread that over 5 years. That's a $7 million per year type of a thing. You have another option bonus that hits maybe next year. That's another big chunk of change that spreads it out. So you're able to keep that cap hit relatively minor. Still going to be high, but you can keep it as low as possible with lower base amounts. So lower base salary amounts and those types of things. So the 49ers are in a tough spot right now. We know they're in a tough spot financially in terms of their salary cap. There's not many ways that they can get underneath. They can lower that spend right now. You know, with the 49ers top 53 on their roster when it comes to the salaries, one player who's not even included that yet is Brock Purdy. So when they break it down, it's going to be a little bit less. That number might be a little bit lower for them. But there's not a whole lot of wiggle room on their end. So they've got to try to figure out how they're going to get this done. The number's there. It's not where they need to be at this point. But the 49ers right now are in jeopardy of not having Nick Bosa week 1 out in Pittsburgh when they get to face them. Really quick, a super chat from Vincent Campos. Thank you very much. He says, how possible do you think it is we trade him? I don't think it's very possible that the 49ers are going to trade him. I think the 49ers understand, just like Nick Bosa knows what his value is. I think the 49ers understand the value of Nick Bosa to their team and to their success. I think the 49ers understand that this isn't a Super Bowl team without Nick Bosa on the roster. They might be capable of winning enough games to make the playoffs, but I don't think they believe that they are a Super Bowl team that's going to get to the Super Bowl and win it unless they have Nick Bosa on the roster. So I don't think the 49ers are entertaining a trade for Nick Bosa. I don't think that's the direction that this is going to go. The 49ers, if they're going to get to the Super Bowl, if they're going to win Super Bowls, they need to have Nick Bosa on this roster to get it done. So right now, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you, Vincent. That's a good question. You know, at this point right now, things are not working out. Like I said, according to Ian Rappaport, for a deal to get done, there has to be conversation on both sides. There has to be a back and forth on all sides, and there needs to be a willingness to do a deal. And it doesn't sound like the conversation is very active. And the fact that it's not active should be something that makes everybody that's a 49er fan a little concerned, because they need to make this thing active. The back and forth, they need to get this done. There's only 2 weeks before the start of the regular season out in Pittsburgh. And as Ian Rappaport says, will he miss a game? I don't know. But I will say this, if it's possible for anyone to miss a game, Nick Bosa would be in the conversation. That family, as principled as they are, I can see it. There you have it. Nick Bosa possibly missing week 1 for the 49ers. Keep it locked in here to Inside the Farms with Jack Hammer for all of your breaking 49er news and updates. We'll update this story as information comes available. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you can do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're watching the channel and you're new, please hit the subscribe button as well and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the updates right here on Inside the Farms with Jack Hammer. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and we'll be talking with you soon.